In Sweden, members of medieval royal families, such as the House of Stenkil and House of Bjelbo, held the title of jarl before their accession to the throne. Since the early 12th century, there usually was only one holder of the title at a time, second only to the King of Sweden. For special occasions, regional jarls outside of Sweden could be nominated as well. An example of this is Jon Jarl, who allegedly conducted pirate operations against Novgorod in the east. When the House of Bjelbo succeeded in becoming the royal family in 1250, the title was subsumed into that of Duke and the powers were merged into the kingship soon after Birger Jarl's death in 1266. History. According to Procopius, the Heruli, after having raided the European continent for several generations, returned to Scandinavia in 512 as a result of military defeats. As their old territory was now occupied by the Danes, they settled next to the Geats in present-day Sweden. While the Proto-Norse word for this mysterious tribe, Erla, is etymologically near the title jarl and ul in other places, perhaps implying those who can read or dictate, and it has often been suggested they introduced the runes in Scandinavia. No elaborate theory exists to explain how the word came to be used as a title. Arguably, the knowledge in interpreting runes also meant they were gifted in martial arts, and as they gradually integrated, Erl Jarl instead came to signify the rank of a leader. As described in the Icelandic sagas, such as Hryggsthula, a jarl was a sort of chieftain next in rank to the king in the function of marshal or duke of the king's army. Under any circumstance, when jarls are finally mentioned in medieval documents, it clearly was a title signifying a leader rank directly under the king. In Swedish history, jarls are described as either local rulers or viceroys appointed by a king, ruling one of the historical Swedish provinces, such as Västergötland, Östergötland, or Svitjod. In Norway, the jarls apparently kept this role, and the kings attempted to introduce one in each fylke before the title was used exclusively on the Orkney Islands in the 14th century. In Sweden, however, by the mid-10th century the title was used exclusively by a single person, and the local leaders were gradually being referred to as dukes or duke, before the title was finally discontinued in the mid-13th century. Swedish jarls were powerful men, such as Birger Brosa, Ulf Fase, and Birger Jarl, often the true rulers of the Swedish kingdom. Jarls of Sweden. From diverse families. Jon Sverkersson, eldest son and heir of King Sverker I of Sweden. Carl Sverkersson, next son of King Sverker I, Jarl in Gothenland. Jarl Ramvold Henriksson, Erik Jarl during the brief reign of his brother Magnus. Ulf Jarl, Jarl in 1020s. Jarl Guttorm in 1160s. For the House of Bjelbo, Folk the Fat, Jarl around 1100. Bengt Snøvil, Jarl in the mid-12th century, probably never Jarl. Birger Brosa, 1174–1202. Johan Sverkersson, 1202–120. Jon Jarl, Minu 1206. Knut Birgersson, 120–1208, killed in 1208 at the Battle of Lena. Folk Birgersson, 1208–1210, killed in 1210 at the Battle of Gestelrun. Charles the Deaf, 1210, Minu 1220, killed at the Battle of Lihula. Ulf Fase, 1220. And 1231–1240, died 1248. Birger Magnusson, 1248–1266, last Jarl. Regional Jarls. Jarls of Västergötland from the House of Stenkil, Ulf Tostersson. Ranvald Ulfsson, later Jarl of Starafalladogrand in Greer, father of King Stenkil of Sweden. Other Jon Jarl, Roger I of Sicily. In popular culture, in the Elder Scrolls v. Skyrim, the term jarl is used for local lords, keeping in tune with Norse mythology motifs. In the historical role-playing video game Mount and Amp Blade Warband, Lords of Kingdom of Nords, a faction inspired by medieval Nordic cultures, are titled jarls. In the History Channel's historical drama television series Vikings, actor Thorbjorn Har plays the character of Jarlborg, a jarl of Gotaland. In The Witcher 3: Wild Hunt, there is a community led by jarls based on historical Vikings and Scotsmen on the islands of Skellige.